Downsizing Diva, and I'm here to stay. Feeling good, taking my GLP-1 medicine. One whole year, wiped away my fears. Done 60 pounds, but that's no all. I kept on going even through the storms. My A1C went down. I still have work to do. Just when you thought I was done, my high blood pressure went down too. Feeling good, taking my Diva, but he weighed one less. I have a great story to tell. I'm on the road to lose 100 pounds. Can I do it in 2025? Guess I can. Downsizing Diva, and I'm here to stay. Feeling good, taking my GLP-1 medicine.
Hello, and welcome. It's a Wednesday. I can't believe it's a Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to ya. Happy Wednesday to ya. Happy Wednesday. Jeez Louise, this time goes by so fast. I feel like we were just on here. Maybe because I was on Monday. I was on Monday morning, chatting it up with the coffee nistas of the GLP-1 community. So how are you guys? I'm in here putting in my little title in the chat. I see some folks in the chat. Let me say hello, and then we'll get started. We got Mel to the B. She says, good evening, DD, Divas, and gents. Happy Wednesday. Mel, cute profile pic. I think you changed that. I think you changed it. It looks great. Oh, my goodness. You know, you guys with the far back glamour shots, I can't see that far back. So I just see somebody standing there looking cute. Okay, let's see, but I can't see details. You're so far back. All right, so Mel saying like, share, and subscribe as you enter the live stream. Okay, Mel is saying good evening. Norma, how are you? Hey, Norma, how are you doing? She says good evening. We got Be Well with Cara, right? Cara. She says normal. Let's get this party started, sis. I love it. Normal and steady. Let's see. Keisha, how are you? Keisha, look at that updo. Oh my goodness. And the braids, it all works. Super cute. Your braids are like a reddish color too. We're matching. Jeez, Louise, I love that. Very cute, Keisha. You always look like your profile pics are like glamour shots. Jeez, Louise, they're like my thumbnails. All right, let's see. Cheryl, how are you? How are you doing? I'm pretty good. We got Wellness with Liza. How are you? I like how she has MBA on the end of her name. How are you? Looking good. Look at you. Looking cute. Or do you have braids? I can't really see. Maybe I need my glasses. I can't see a thing. These are the only glasses I have in here. And I can't see a thing out of those. I have to get my other glasses. Okay, but I love the glasses. The glasses works, the hair, everything is super cute. You guys are some cutie patooties. The real MVP. How are you? How are you? Okay, I think I scrolled down and missed some folks. The real MVP. Let's see. Wait a minute. We got Cheryl. Sweet Bee. How are you, Sweet Bee? Life of BB. How are you? How are you? Wait, did I miss Purple Bellflower? I think I missed her too. How can I miss my Pep with Pam? How are you? I don't know how I scrolled down so far. I think I got I don't know what happened. It just scrolled down. Bellflower, how are you? She's coming in saying hello to everybody. One of my moderators. Just love her. Mail to the B, moderating up here. Love her. All right. Oh, hello. How are you? Oh, she got the long mirror. You look good. Now, all I see is like like a silhouette of a beautiful person. I could tell that's a mirror though. Super cute. Oh gosh, you guys are so creative with these profile pics. Okay, who else do we have in here? Did I miss anybody? Wait, it's two people. Cool J. You know, that reminds me of LL Cool J. LL Cool J is hardest. Battle anybody? I don't care who you. I can say that word, right? Because that's not a bad word. Oh, that reminds me of that. Very cool. Okay, Karen, how are you, Karen? Look at you, looking all cute. Jeez, Louise, look at that hair. It reminds me back in the day when I had half of my hair short and then half was long. You remember those days, like the salt and pepper of it all when they first started? It reminds me of that. All right, so Vicky, how are you, Vicky? She just came in here. How are you from Vegas? Now, are you the one who told me it was 110 in Vegas on Monday? Was that you? Somebody said it was 110 degrees in Vegas. I would have had my buns all up in the air conditioning, wherever that is. But when you go in Vegas, not for nothing, you go in those restaurants or the casino, you need a jacket. It's so cold. So they know how to take care of you. Okay, you did tell me that. They know how to take care of you when you're not walking on that strip. It's super hot in Vegas, 110. Jeez Louise. Oh my goodness. And you wouldn't catch me outside at all. Thank you. Remember to like the live. Okay, so we're talking about today, our title. I was putting that in when the music was playing, the little intro music. And, I've just been thinking about people losing weight. So the term skinny fat for some reason keeps coming up in my presence. I'm not saying it, but I keep hearing, that, and I thought, what does that really mean? What does being skinny fat really means? And a lot of us could be losing weight, but does that mean we're healthy, right? So, we've lost weight on a GLP-1, but are we healthy? So we're going to talk about it. Now, only you know your numbers. I don't know your numbers. I'm going to share mine. The only one I don't have to share is I didn't measure my waist. So if you have your waist measurement, you should know that. Now, I measured myself when I first started on my GLP-1. I was writing everything down. And then, I was so into it. And then when I started my own channel, I was only audio. I wasn't visual. I was just talking into that phone. And then I got distracted because it's a lot more work than it probably looks like. So I got distracted and I stopped measuring myself. I don't even know if it took me into that point when I stopped measuring myself, because I started my channel, and my anniversary of starting my channel for 2 years is coming up. We're going to celebrate at the end of the month. I'm going to be dropping some YouTube gems, what I've learned. Now, I'm not like the biggest channel, but I've really learned some things that have helped kind of boost my channel up. So, I'll talk about that, or I might change my mind and not talk about it. I don't know, because who cares but the content creators, and they might not even care. But, so I'll be celebrating my little 2 years on YouTube. That's coming up so soon. Jeez Louise, it's 6/17. So anyway, so I took my measurements and then I got distracted. So I do know where my waist started. And so I got to measure where my waist is at. So that's the only thing, a number I don't have today to share. And then I was like, maybe I should measure myself. And then I thought, I got to make sure I'm doing it right. And I think you're supposed to, your stomach, if you got a flat stomach, this is easier than it is going to be for me, but, or flatter, I should say. I don't know too many people with super flat stomachs that in their 50s, but I'm sure they're out there. So if you measure, it's like they say it's an inch above your belly button. That's where you measure your stomach. And I'm telling you, where my fat loves to live is in my belly and on my thighs, like my thighs and my belly. Now my butt, it has fat too, but I think it's a good place where I think it's a good place where the fat lives. And not for nothing, having fat around your organs, that's not good. But on your rump, that's where my fat is too. But I'm not mad at that. If it had to go one place, and it had to be out of one place on my whole body, I would choose that the last place. I hope that's a good choice though. But I think around your belly is the worst place it could be. So we do need to be knowing our measurements. So I'm going to ask you guys. So in order to be considered metabolically healthy, it's 5 things. Now, don't look it up. Don't Google it. I want you to tell me just what do you think those are? Hey, Rita, I see you came in. Journey, how are you? I see you came in. Be Well with Care said, I care, 2 years. Thank you. Thank you. I can't believe it. It has gone so fast too, but yeah, I'm going to be talking about some things, So anyway, So what do you guys think are the five measures that you should know? This will tell you if you're metabolically healthy and not just losing weight. Because I think sometimes we think like when we're thinner, we're healthier, and that's not true. That is not true. And I know so many people in my family that are what we call skinny fat, right? They have insulin resistance, diabetes, high blood pressure. They have all the things, but they're not obese or overweight. They're in the regular category as far as weight, normal. They're considered normal. So what do you think? What do you think? What are some of the 5 things? Okay, so Mel B says waist circumference. Okay, well, she's right, but yeah, we've established that one. So one of them is waist circumference. What's another one, do you guys think? Is so let me put up Mel to the B. She said that. Yeah, so that's definitely up there. That's one of them. It's what they have agreed on, these 5 things. Waist circumference is one. What else? Hey, Journey. Thank you. How are you? She says she loves the hat. Thank you. I'm a hat girl. You could never get me to wear a hat because my hair was always fried, dyed, and laid to the side. You could never get me to wear a hat. My parents used to always get on me about wearing hats in the winter, and I would never wear a hat. When I got older and that wind started hitting this head, I said, oh, I'm going to put on a hat. So now I just have a bunch of cute hats. Well, I think they're cute. But so thank you for confirming you think this one's cute. All right. So Pepwood Pam says women are different. But yeah, we were taught to never ask about weight. Christopher is speaking truth. Yeah, that's true. Never ask about weight and never ask a lady how old she is. Now, I don't know. I don't mind people asking me my age. Do you guys? I think though, I could tell that some people still don't like the asking of the age. And I'm going to tell you, I don't mind about the age because so many people are passing on younger and younger. And so when I see people passing on younger and younger, it just makes me thank God and appreciate my age, 53. If I could wear a shirt with a banner on it saying I'm 53, I would, because I just think it's great to be still amongst the living, right? Because so many people, you think they're healthy, they look healthy. The next thing you know, they're out of here. So let's thank God for that. So, but again, that's just me. Now, some people might have their reason and I don't know what it is, but some people might not want people to know. So are you ladies like that? Do you tell people or would you be offended if somebody asked your age? Okay, so Kat. Oh, Kat, my girl with the hat. Here we go, Kat. All right, Renita, how are you? Okay, so Renita comes on in strong. It says it's BMI one. Actually, I'm so glad to say it is not. BMI is not in that one of those indicators. So aren't you surprised by that? It is not BMI, but great guess. Great guess. Okay, so she said yes for the hat. So Mel says, and my something was too high. Doctor was threatening statins. That's why I started the GLP-1. Okay, so Rita comes in. She's saying A1C, insulin, cortisol, BMI. So actually, none of those. Can you believe that? None of those. Okay, so great guesses, Rita. I mean, I'm telling you, when I was looking this up, I was shocked too. I could tell you I wasn't obese, but I was on the verge of high blood pressure. Yeah, and that'll take you out of here. You don't have to be obese to have high blood pressure and have a stroke. And I'm going to tell you, I have just recently been sharing with on social media with people that I've been retiring. Let me stop moving my hands. You see how it goes in slow-mo? It does not like you to be active on this StreamYard, like moving around. So I was, so anyway, so people have been commenting on there. I need to go on there and respond. I'm behind on my comments on that. I'm behind on these social media comments. But a lot of my former students are on there responding. Geez, Louise, it tears me up, makes me feel so appreciated, some of the comments that I've been getting. And so, yeah, so there is one girl on there. She used to date my brother years ago. And I'm not going to, I hope I don't make a mistake and say her name, but she was the bee's knees back in the day. She just had it going on. And so I saw her, and so we're around the same age. I want to say she might be 1 year older than I am, if she's older, but we might be the same age. When I tell you, she said on there she had a stroke, and I could tell she looked a little different. But now she's thin, always have been thin. This is what I'm saying. She's always been thin. Never known her to have a weight problem. At one point, I do remember thinking, I saw her in a picture, remember thinking her face was kind of chunky. My face gets chunky too, at times. So I just thought it was that, like, my face could get chunky. If I gained 1 or 2 pounds, I noticed, or sometimes my face could be puffy. And I just chalked it up to that. Well, when I saw her, she looks like she's kind of slimmed down a little bit, but she's always slim, but probably that skinny fat, that we talk about. But she said she had a mini stroke. She had COVID, and she said she had something else. But you could tell, how, like, have you ever seen people who have had a stroke and you could tell that it affected them? So she had that look. So I said to myself, I said, thank God, because, I was over 300 pounds, never had a stroke. So I don't know if she wasn't checking her numbers. I don't know if it just creeped up on her. I don't know, but it just made me appreciate health. And also to know that you can't look at a person and tell how sick they are. You cannot. And, she said, oh, I'm survived. I'm a survivor. And I was shocked. I always thought she was like a picture of good health. So that was a lesson learned for me. And I just saw her yesterday. This was yesterday. I saw a picture of her, and she had that post up. So yeah. Well, anyway, so Miss Rita, we've ruled out A1C, insulin, cortisol, BMI. So somebody else said BMI. Blood sugar is what? Yes, Keisha. So A1C and blood sugar is a little different. Okay, so people might be saying that's the same thing. Well, it's not. It's giving you some of the similar information, but remember, A1C is your blood, your blood sugar levels over an average of 3 months, right? So I remember one time, like, I ate something, you're supposed to take a fasting A1C. I think I drank, I don't know if I ate, if I drank something with, something in it, or if I ate a little something, I can't remember. But anyway, I was so paranoid because I'm like, it's going to mess up my results. And, the doctor assured me, she's like, well, this is what you've been doing over 3 months, not what you've been doing for today. So she was like, you're going to be fine. So I thought, okay, well, so that's pretty good. So, so she told me, don't worry about it. But your fasting blood sugar level is, where your blood sugar is right now. And people, kind of, monitor that. If, like, your A1C is really sky high, or your blood readings in the past have been sky high, people monitor those as we go. So that is one, your fasting blood sugar. And it says ideal is less than 100 milligrams. If yours is between 100 and 125, this was where mine was for so long before I started the GLP-1, 100 to 125. It was in between that. And then at some point it got over that 126, and that's considered diabetes, right? This is one of the most important markers of metabolic health. So if you have A1C, not an A1C, if you have fasting blood sugar levels that are under 100, you can consider yourself a check for that, right? So you have a check for that. Now, we didn't talk about this, but with your waist circumference, now, so far we've established two. So your waist circumference and your fasting blood sugar. Keisha told us that one. Okay, so your waist circumference, if your waist is less than 35 inches, you could give yourself a check. So I want to ask the people that are still with me in the chat, how many checks do you have? Hey, Jude, how are you? Pammy Whammy, how are you? So how many checks do you have? And I don't even have to measure my belly, my waist to know I'm not at 35. But I could give myself a check on the blood sugar. So far, I'm a 1 out of 2. So waist circumference and fasting blood sugar. So I'm 1 out of 2. What are you guys? What are you? What do you have so far? Sweet B says VO2 max. No, that's not one. Good guess, though. Excellent guess. Your resting heart rate. No, not one. Type 2 diabetes. That kind of goes along with the fasting blood sugar. So we got that one. Okay. You said, oh, Vicky said, I don't care if I tell my age, but I'm not saying my weight. And I was like that too. Paula, how are you, beautiful lady? Look at you. Beautiful picture. And you changed your name. Paula's Journey to Health. I love that. Very good. Beautiful picture. Jeez Louise, I love it. Okay, so what are you guys so far? Hey Jude, how are you? Pammy Whammy is doing good. So out of the two, so you said my blood pressure is needed to lose to bring down. Yeah, so the more weight you lose, it should come down, but it's not always though. Some people can be, thinner and still have that high blood pressure. So it just depends. All right. So okay, so what are you guys out of the two? Are you a 2 for 2 or are you a 1 for 2 like me? I'm 1 for 2 because my waist is not under 35. I wish I could say it was, but it's not. Okay, so what about what else is it? So those are two. It's 5. We've only gotten 2. Blood pressure. Somebody said blood pressure. That's one. I'm sorry, I missed that. Who said blood pressure? Oh, Cool J. That's the first person I saw. Oh, Keisha, and Cool J are the first people I saw that. So that's 3. So I'm 2 for 3. So blood pressure, I'm giving myself a check. So we got blood pressure. Your blood pressure should be it's ideally less than 120/80. Now, my last blood pressure reading was, let me see. My last blood pressure reading in March of this year was 124/82. And then when I took my blood pressure in October of 2025, it was 122/76. When I say I did, this is the doctor. And then when I went in June of 2025, it was exactly 120/80. I don't know if you remember this video that I did, but the doctor said, do you want to do a dance for that? I was like, yeah. Now, mind you, I've never been on any other medication for blood pressure or, lowering your blood pressure, no blood pressure meds. But yeah, and when I started the journey, and now my blood pressure had gotten as high as 151-ish, I think 151 or 156 over 90 something, over 101. I remember that 150. It was either 151 or 156 over 101. That was the highest. But when I actually started this journey, my blood pressure, I checked in at 138/80. So it was up there still, and especially that top number. So, and then October, it was 122/76. And then in March, it was 124/82. So we'll see when I go back. And I'll actually go back to my doctor. She didn't want to see me until 6 months. Instead of 3 months, she said 6 months. So, I may have somebody take my blood pressure when I go and get my mammogram. I don't know if they do that. I never see them with like things to take a blood pressure, but I'll get my blood pressure taken before August because I just think I should. So anyway, so those are my numbers. So I got 2 out of that 3. This waist is holding on for dear life. The fat loves me. I don't love the fat, but what are you gonna do? So Mel saying 2 out of 2. I love that, Mel. 2 out of 2. Excellent job. And then probably 3 out of 3 because now we added the blood pressure. Brenda, how are you? You turned 60 in July and you're feeling healthier. Well, we love that. Turning 60, I got to give you some confetti. Jeez, Louise. When somebody's sitting here, they'll tell their age before their weight. I used to be like that too before I started taking this GLP-1 and doing my own channel. My mom no one knew my weight until I said it, honestly, other than the doctor. Nobody knew my weight until I said it on YouTube. So yeah, and some of my family, if they don't watch the YouTube, they still don't know how much I weigh. So I can relate to that. Okay. So Keisha is 3 for 3. Pam, you Pammy Whammy. Okay. Ooh, so Pammy Whammy, you 106. Gosh, you have such a great blood pressure. Pammy Whammy, that is awesome. Very good. Good for you. Okay, so you got 3 out of 3. Don't you just feel good? Okay. So Mel, I'm gonna come back to your comment, Mel. Yes, I saw that new guidelines say people may not have a 120/80 as you get older, like mine. The pressure goes up. There's no one size fits all when it comes to blood pressure. Yeah, so we're just going by the standard, right? The standard, because I even heard now they've lowered it even more so. And one of the reasons why I heard they lowered it down is because people have been having strokes in like their 30s and 40s, heart disease in their 30s and 40s. That was unheard of years ago. You know, you would get that heart disease when you were in your 50s, but mostly 60s and up. Now it's happening younger and younger. But yeah, so I'm glad you said that, because it is no one size fits all. So we're talking about standards here, not outliers. So if you're an outlier because of, it can be family history or anything like that, you know, if your doctor told you for what you have going on, if yours is healthy, give yourself a check, honey. Check it. I say check it. Only you know your situation. Okay, so Mel is saying 3 out of 3. Okay, triglycerides is another one. Yay, sweet bee. Okay, so Mel said HDL. Yes. So HDL and triglycerides. Now I'm going to tell you, I was surprised about this because I was like, okay, HDL, but not LDL. So HDL, you know, that is the cholesterol that's considered the good cholesterol, right? That's the good cholesterol. That's the one that you want to have, like in good shape. Okay. So when I think about triglycerides, I'm going to say, see what mine is. I have to find mine. Oh, okay. So my triglycerides, you know what your triglycerides are, like the number. So my triglycerides are at a 44, which is very good. Very good. All right. So that's considered excellent. So, and triglycerides are how much, you know, like how much stuff you have in your arteries and, you know, and things that are floating around. And, you know, you don't want that. You don't want to have a lot of it, right? You want to have it so that it's, you know, your arteries are kind of clean, right? You don't want blood, you don't want plaque, you don't want gook all up in there. So you want to have your triglycerides in a good area. So mine is 44. Do you guys know what your number is for triglycerides? Who knows what that is? Anybody? Mine is 44. I just looked it up. Okay, and I'm going to tell you the HDL and the triglycerides go together. So, and I asked myself, I said, why would, you know, LDL is the bad cholesterol? Why isn't that an indicator? Why is it, you know, the HDL and the triglycerides? And why is it not the bad cholesterol? And there's a reason why, and I'm going to read that to you. I just kind of looked that up. So you want to have your triglycerides less than 150. You don't want them to be super high. Elevated triglycerides are often linked to excess sugar intake, insulin resistance, and ultra processed foods. So for me to have a 44, that's great. It's considered excellent. So that's triglycerides. Now, HDL is the good cholesterol. So for that, it says women should have 50 or higher. Men should have 40 or higher. Higher HDL levels are generally associated with better health and lower cardiovascular risk. So my HDL is 63. That's kind of like the cleanup crew, right? They're like cleaning all the junk out. And so you want to have those in there. And they say a 60 or higher is good. I'm at a 63. So I'm doing good with that too. Now, one thing I do want to say is my overall cholesterol was a 200 exactly. Remember, we wanted to be under 200. And over the years, it's elevated. And I think that has to do with my age and menopause. Because when I first started this journey, it was, I can't remember, I didn't write down what it was. But when I had it it was 197. So my total cholesterol was 197. And that was in February of 2024. In October of 2025, my cholesterol went down to 186. I was like on cloud 9. But look at this. My LDL was 123 in February. And then when in October, it's an ant. I got ants crawling around. Jeez, Louise, I got to get these ants. Okay. So in October of 2025, when my cholesterol went down to 186, the total cholesterol, the LDL was at 104. My LDL was at 104. So that went down. How many points was that? What was that? Almost 19 points, right? That went way down. But then in March, and one of the things I did during that time, because I was thinking, why would it go down? One of the things I did was I gave up meat for long period of time. And I think that really had something to do with lowering that cholesterol for me, honestly. So the doctor, that we didn't try to pinpoint what it was, but that was the change. If I could say one thing changed during that period of time, that was it. In March, and that doesn't mean it is, but it's just kind of correlated, right? So then in March of 2026, here not too long ago, my cholesterol was at 200 exactly. My LDL went up to 124, which is considered a little high, right, for that LDL. But ironically enough, the LDL, the bad cholesterol, they don't factor that in. They look at what the good stuff is doing and how the good stuff is working for you. So I have a good ratio. So what I looked at, my ratio, so my triglycerides, my ratio of triglycerides to my HDL was impressive. It was a 0.7. And many experts consider if you have under 2, that's good. And under 1 is excellent. Remember, I'm 0.7. So I got to brag because I'm not so happy with what's been going on with that scale. So I got to look at my non-scale victories and give me a kudos for that. So I'm going to give myself some confetti for being under that 1 is excellent. And, some of you are like that with your visceral fat. Now, when I get to the visceral fat, I might have to fly you all out to Ohio to celebrate. I'm going to be so happy. So a ratio of 0.7 is outstanding and is often associated with good insulin sensitivity. How about that? So how did we get that number? So we divided 44, which was my triglycerides, divided into 63, which was what my LDL was. So that's how you can find out what yours is. So take your triglyceride number divided by your HDL number, and then you will get your ratio. And hopefully yours is not over 2, because anything under 2 is good, right? So I'm under that 1, so I'm considered excellent. So it says someone with, because mind you, here I have my 124, that outlier for the LDL hanging out there. So someone with an LDL of 124 like me, with the HDL of 63 and a triglyceride, the triglycerides are 44, often has larger, less dense LDL particles than someone who had, a LDL of the 124 with 35, which is, kind of under what you need for your good cholesterol. And if your triglycerides were super high at 250. So the LDL number is the same, but the overall risk profile could be different. So I love that for myself. So they say, looking at me, my HDL is 63, my triglycerides are 44, my A1C is 5.6. They say, because I've lost 80 plus pounds, taking Mounjaro, I'm recently starting to hit the gym. My metabolic health markers are looking very encouraging. So I got to get that waist. That's that one thing I have going on that I need to, work on is my, my waist, getting that stomach down. And they say my conversation with my doctor should be, how do I improve my metabolism? And more likely, how should I lower my LDL further, because my history of diabetes, and I don't want to have any cardiovascular risk. So lowering that LDL is going to be beneficial, but in the big scheme of things, it looks pretty darn good. So I love that. So how many of those 5 do you have? I'm going to put the 5. Okay, what are you guys saying? I've just been talking. I'm going to go and see what you guys are saying. She's losing it real. She's losing it for real. I love that. Cholesterol. Cholesterol was not one, like the total cholesterol, but HDL was. So you were right. Very good. You could get free blood pressure at CVS. Thank you. I'm going to have to go to CVS. And not for nothing, my insurance has changed. So yeah, I probably could be checking that out. Somebody said my waist used to be, and now it's down. Jeez Louise, Pam, good for you. Let's give you some confetti, because now you're 30, 31. What a big difference. Okay, very good. These numbers are impressive, ladies. Jeez Louise. Cheryl, you're going to be 62. Okay, so the real MVP, 3 out of 3 so far. Very good. The new standard cholesterol is not total cholesterol, but just the good cholesterol in your triglycerides, which is a part of your cholesterol makeup. Those are the 2 they look at for metabolic health. The new standard is 110/70. So doctors are aiming for that range. name for optimal blood pressure, even with the meds. Yeah, and I saw that, and I think they're lowering it down because so many of these folks are dropping out, and dropping down. And what I will say, I think it's really the processed foods and all the things they're adding to the food just to preserve the food. Now when I'm in my I cleaned out my closet. I'm big on if something that's expired, it has to go. I know some people who say, I don't care if it's expired, I'm just cooking it anyway. I don't do that. I throw it out. And so, but I've been looking at these canned goods, and once these canned goods go that I have, I'm not replacing them. I'm just gonna buy all my veggies. I'm gonna buy frozen. And I just don't want anything in the can. I think, some things that we can control, which is not a lot, right, that goes on in our environment. But if we can control it, I think we should try to control it. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm planning on trying to control what I can. Let's see. Okay, I thought somebody was texting me. Okay, so I'm trying to control what I can. So, Brenda, you said your A1C is 4.8. Geez, Louise, excellent job getting that down. Don't go down too low, though. You go down too low, then you're going to have to start worrying about passing out and falling out. So if I were you, I wouldn't go down too low. And I don't know if people ever thought like, oh, her A1C is at 5.6. She's right at normal. I don't want to drop down much lower than that, honestly, because I don't want to get to be one of those people that have to monitor what they're doing and how they're doing it. And every time they eat, monitoring that, every time they're doing something. I don't want to worrying about it going too low, because that's a concern too. And you can pass out. And the thing about passing out is when you pass out, you don't get to choose where you pass out at, right? You don't get to pass out on your fluffy bed or your couch. You could be anywhere and pass out. So if I were you, I would not go down too low. But talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor, but that's just a, put that bug in your ear. Check with your doctor, though. Your situation could be different. Surprisingly, I used to have a good blood pressure when I was 313. Yeah, I know people who have good blood pressures when they're bigger. So yeah, just like Rita was saying, we're all kind of different. But I did too until I didn't. So there's that. I've heard and read the same blood pressure levels are too low when you're older can cause lightheadedness. Yes, I need to look into that a bit more. Yeah, and again, talk to your doctor because everybody's situation is different, like Rita was saying. Before GLP-1, I was only 1 out of 3. Oh my God. So now we know it's 5. So what are you now that you see all those? Carla, how are you? She says, happy hump day. All right. So she says, it's so critically important to have your blood pressure measured the right way. Most times in the office, they don't take the measurement properly. I could see that. Usually if something goes wrong, because, they used to have those machines and the machines don't always do it right. I always have my doctor follow up with like the assistant. They take it and then I get a second reading. So yeah, I do that. Blood sugar, yes, you're right, Brenda. Your triglycerides are 41. Excellent. That's excellent. Wait, is that excellent? Yes, I think that is, right? Because mine was 44. So yeah, I think you're in great shape. Yes. Diva, but if you were over 300 pounds, yes. Yeah, I was obese and still I'm still considered that too. Remember, obesity has classes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should say classes, levels. Is it called class? Whatever. What is that called? Their level. So yeah, I'm still considered obese. 2 out of 3. Yes. Okay. Your HDL is 84. Excellent. Let me look and see. Okay. So yeah, you're excellent. That's a great one. Very good. You're in good health. So far, so good. Wait. Okay. Wow. That's really good. Keep up the health journey. My LDL was 36 when I started my GLP-1. Now it is 63, your HDL. Now what's mine is 63. We're 20 with HDL. I love that. Look at that rise. Very good. I love the before and after. Let's give her some confetti. Okay, very good. All right, you and Bellflower and Mel B. Okay, you guys are looking good. Pammy Whammy's looking good. My husband always weighed less than me, 185, but he has to take blood pressure meds, okay, due to genetically high blood pressure. Yes. But I'm going to tell you, sometimes I think they say genetically high because I don't know. Is he, because I mean, it's so many things that causes your blood pressure to be elevated. And I know it is a genetic thing, but don't let them make you think that you can't not have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you guys know the story of Tina Turner. I'm not going to get into it because I might cry. I used to love me some Tina. But yeah, look at her story and look at her history with high blood pressure. And I'm going to be honest, I actually made a video about Tina Turner and her whole high blood pressure situation. Maybe I'll show it. You can tell I'm so much bigger on there. This is when I kind of first started showing up on camera. And I didn't put it out. I don't know why I didn't put it out. It was long. I started talking. I started getting emotional in the video. And so I never put it out. And I keep saying one of these days I'm going to brush it up and put it out. But yeah, so I just have an issue with doctors telling people that their blood pressure, high blood pressure is genetic, almost like it's nothing you could be about. That's like you could do about it. That's like somebody saying to you, oh, your obesity is genetic. You know, it's like, should you still not try to do something about it and not just take the medication? Because we know that medication is kind of, for some of these things, it's kind of like a Band-Aid. It's not curing it, right? It's not getting to the nitty gritty. And I always tell this story. I had a friend who, you know, before I got on Mounjaro, when I first was diagnosed as diabetic, she was telling me, just get on the pill, metformin, just get on the pill, take the metformin, you know, you can still eat, you know, whatever you want to eat. It's going to control your blood sugar. And, you know, my blood sugar is under, you know, whatever the level was. And I just thought, like, that's a Band-Aid. Like, she's still not curing what was going on with her high blood pressure. So she's still eating whatever she was eating. She's eating less of it, but she's still eating it. And that medication to me is like putting a Band-Aid over it. So yeah. And I just know when they tell you, oh, it's genetic, you just kind of think no matter what I do, it's not going to be fixed. And that's not true. That's not true. I don't believe that. So anyway, that's just my soapbox about that. Yeah, and you know, a lot of folks are told that, and I've known people that have been told that and said, "I'm going to show them." Got off that medication, they're doing great without the medication. Yes, elevated LDL is related to menopause per confirmation from my doctor. Yes, I believe that for sure. Let's see, what are you saying, Vicky? I have to go back and look at my blood work. Well, I'm glad you even have blood work to look at. 300-pound odds, not only obese, but morbidly obese. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the highest category, whatever that was, for sure. Empty your bladder, sit quietly for 5 minutes, and do not talk during the test. In an upright seated position, feet flat on the floor, arm resting comfortably at heart level, not dangling. Okay, yeah. And a lot of times, don't they have you dangle it down? So she said, get on that. You make sure they're doing it the right way. Thank you for that public service announcement. I love that. Empty your bladder, sit quiet from, yeah, they don't do all that. Okay, all right. So now I'm going to make sure that I'm sitting. But, you know, mine, they don't come in right away and take it. So I probably could be, that's the only one I would give a side eye to. Mel said her LDL is, your HDL is 101. Excellent. You're way up there. Geez Louise. Okay, I love that. And let me see, what did they say about your LDL? They said, let's see, your HDL, 50 or higher. So yeah, so you're in good shape. You're kind of doubled that 50 or higher. Mel says she's 5 out of 5. I love that. So Pam said her triglycerides were 51, HDL 76. So you did say divide. Okay, so you're 0.671. I love that. Very good. Okay. Yes. You're 0.67. Okay. Now I'm glad because I'm not that far from you. Wait, I don't know. Now you changed it up. Okay. No, I don't think you're at 1.49. You're not that high. I think you had it right the first time. Your LDL is 80. Excellent job, Mel. Excellent job. I'm going to give you some confetti for all your great numbers. This is for you. This is for Bellflower. Jeez Louise. You ladies are in good shape. Metabolically speaking, right? It's great. And the cup, the cup must be big enough. Yeah, that's a problem too. If the message you do, if they message you with a too small cuff, your blood pressure reading could be higher. And by more than 20 to 30 points. If the cuff is too small, it could be the other way. Yeah, and a lot of times it's super tight. It is super tight. Well, not now since I've been losing, but I remember before. My insurance company paid for a blood pressure cuff, and they pay for one every year. So everyone should check that. Okay, very good. So I bet you it's a good one too. Okay, so she says, what the heck, 110 over 70? That seems low. I know, it does seem low, but yeah, that's what they're saying. The new, I think it's like I said, all these people are having episodes. Normal A2 point, normal A2, 5.1. Oh, A1. 5.1. Very good. I love that. 5.1. That's a good one. 5 out of 5. I was happy to see my lab work was the best ever in May 2026. Great topic. Thank you. Good. Cheers to you. 5 out of 5. Doesn't it make you feel good? Jeez Louise. All right. Very good. So I'm 4 out of 5. Jeez Louise, I got to get that waist snatched. Okay, so Mel is saying, okay, people are congratulating everybody. That's true, she said, because often they don't use the correct size. Yeah. You said normal, your A1C is 4.8 to 5.6. Very good. Frozen and fresh veggies are so much better, especially if you are monitoring your sodium intake. Yes, 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 yes. I just looked up the American Heart Association. It says the standard is 120 over 80. I just don't want people thinking they are failing if they run higher than 110 over 70. In 1998, the standard was 140 over 80. Yes, and I remember that because I'm going to tell you, when I was in the 130s, I remember my doctor saying like they lowered it, so you would have been in good shape, but now you're not. At some points when I would have a higher one. So yeah. So, okay. All right. She said, so Bellflower said, no one is failing. Doctors prefer certain patients to meet the new standards due to medical history or genetic risk, which is why it's always important to consult your doctor. Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, and I think, like Rita was saying earlier, you got to check with your doctor about what's appropriate for you in your situation. So I agree with that. Exactly, Sweet Pea, especially the the feet flat on the floor, sitting quietly for 5 minutes. Never heard of the need to empty in the bladder, but that makes sense because of the feeling of stress. And another thing that has helped me is I listen to music. I'll have my ear bud in, and I'm listening to like some calming music. That would help lower my blood pressure. That was the thing that helped me too. So all right. Okay. So you guys, do you guys have those numbers down? Let me see. I'm going to put this up. So our five things were, what did we say? Can somebody remember the 5? Hey, Anissa, how are you? Can somebody remember the 5? So I'm going to use all caps just so metabolic health indicators. Okay. And hopefully I don't misspell. Let me put this in here. So if I misspell it, I could go and correct it. Jeez Louise. Okay. All right. So our metabolic health. What was the first one? Does anybody remember? You're right. It was the waist circumference. So I'm just going to put waist. It's your blood pressure. What's another one? It's our blood sugar. Resting blood sugar. So I'm just going to put blood sugar or fasting blood sugar, I should say. I said resting. It's your let me put fasting so we can be specific. Fasting blood sugar. And it's your HDL. So, if you guys want to go and look that up, you'll see that I am correct. So glycerides, how do you spell that? So I also want people to know this because, for me, I could have been, this makes me feel good because I'm doing 4 out of the 5 things right. And I think if people know more they're doing right, not focus so much on going normal and steady, slow and steady, not making their goal with that scale. So here we go. Hopefully it's spelled correctly. So our metabolic health indicators, did I spell that right? Metabolic health indicators is your waist circumference, your blood pressure, your fasting blood sugar, your LDL, which relates to your cholesterol, and your triglycerides. So now the first thing is, if you don't know these numbers, we had at one point, we had 55 people I looked up. Now I look up, now it's at 50. If you're out there and you're not in this chat, these people in the chat, most of the people know their numbers. If you don't know these numbers, go and find out your numbers, because what people do know is how much they weigh, right? Because you're doing that at home. Some of you may have one of those fancy smancy scales where you're doing, your BMI, their percentage of body fat. You might know, I don't know if they're calculating lean muscle mass. Pretty soon they're going to be telling you if you're pregnant or not. I don't know. These scales are doing any and everything. The visceral fat is telling you that. So, but they're not telling you these indicators. You got to actually go and get some blood work done and actually look at the blood work. Don't rely on your doctor to, just give it to you. You look at it and you actually go see what it means. Like, go see what that 44 means. What does the 63 mean? Like, so my triglycerides are 44. I wanted to know, what does that mean? My HDL was 63. I wanted to know, what does that mean? Your fasting blood sugar. I knew a lot about that, but I knew it should be under 100. And I want to say the last time I went, mine was in the 70 something range, 70 something. I can't remember the exact number, but I just remember 70. My blood pressure, I know what that is. At 120/80, if you could get even lower, Bellflower was telling us the new standard. I want to say she said 110/70 for some folks. But again, that's why we always say, talk to your doctor so you know. And then your waist, if you are a female, should be under 35. So I know that's the one I didn't meet. So under 35. And then for men, it should be 40 inches. And what I love about this is that they didn't take, they're not saying your BMI, right? We thought it was going to be the BMI. There are other things that we're looking at to determine if we are in good health. And I'm going to tell you, this just really gave me a wake-up call when I saw that girl who I always thought, and I remember this was just yesterday, and I saw her, and she said she had a stroke, and I would never associate her with having a stroke. And this is why some of the people we think are healthy because they're thin. We think they're healthy. We think that, they have it going on. And then we hear that they had a stroke, or we hear that, remember I was so shaken up in December when I had that death in my family, that started from a stroke. And then the person could not speak. They were in a wheelchair in a nursing home. And eventually, she passed on. I think all that affected her heart. Eventually she had a heart attack and passed on. But yeah, it started with the stroke. She was not overweight. She was not overweight. I want to say that again. She was not overweight. I don't think she's ever been what we call fat or overweight, but she had a stroke, and it took everything out of here, but her ability to be here with us. She could not speak. She could not speak. She could not walk. She was in a wheelchair, and then eventually she passed on. So, and I'm just saying this to you guys, a lot of us, including myself, because, I've been, trying to gear my content toward motivating people and myself. If you're normal and steady, you're slow and steady. Or some people, not for nothing, some people are at maintenance and are frustrated with that, right? They're frustrated with their body composition. They're trying to mold their bodies into what they always wanted it to be, and some people are frustrated with the loose skin. Some people may be frustrated with the exercise. Some people may be frustrated because they're getting too slim, right? And they're being told they're too slim. Whatever your frustration is, are you healthy? I want you to think about that. Lean into, are we healthy? If you're healthy, you can go from there. So if somebody tells you you're too thin, you say to them, guess what? According to my numbers, I am a healthy person. And I would hit them with according to my metabolic health, I'm healthy. And so that just makes me feel good, because when I look at myself, sometimes I see like a bigger person, still not as big as I was, but I just think like, geez, I got a long way to go. Sometimes I think that. So now this makes me feel better. Really, I just got that waist. That waist is that one thing that I kind of have to, and that's going to take some time. That's not going to be an overnight miracle. I already know that. So there's that. So I hope you guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope, it gave some people hope that, you don't have to, you don't have to, I'm seeing what people are saying in this chat here. But yeah, you don't have to beat yourself up with that scale. It's other things that, you should be proud of yourself for, and stay off that scale if it's giving you some, what I want to say, disappointment, discouragement. Some people are saying they're even depressed about what's going on with the scale, that they're not getting any movement. And so look at these numbers. I'm going to put these up one more time, and then I'm going to go in the chat. Look at what your numbers are. Look at your waist circumference, your blood pressure, your fasting blood sugar, your HDL, your triglycerides. So if that scale's not moving, work on one of those. And if you don't know your numbers, make that the first thing you do the next time. Schedule it. Tomorrow morning, schedule it. Schedule those labs. Most insurances probably will pay for it. Now, I don't know. There's never an all. And if they don't, I'm telling you, that's a great investment to go and get the blood work done. And I would also add checking your vitamin D. If you were going to go get blood work, I would also add checking your vitamin D and checking your urine too, because that tells a lot about the protein in your urine. That tells about your kidneys and how they're functioning. So I would do, so just a comprehensive metabolic test. I think that's what mine is called, what I get. And that just tells you a lot about how your body is functioning. So there's that. So my PSA to the world. All right. So what are you guys saying? I saw some good comments up in the chat. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Thank you for saying your insurance company pay for your blood pressure cuff, Pam. Okay, Keisha says, I agree with Sand in 5.3 to 5.6 range, nothing too low. Yeah, I'm telling you, I think so too. That's true because they often don't use the correct size. I think I saw that. We saw the fresh veggies. Okay, my total cholesterol is 155. Before it was 188. That's excellent. Excellent. So, another test that, and I don't know if you guys ever taken this, but the calcium, have you guys ever taken the calcium test? And I've taken 2, and that determines how much calcium is in your arteries. And calcium in your arteries is linked to plaque in your arteries. And so I'm happy to report that every time I've had one of those, I had one at the start of my journey. I had one maybe a year or 2 before, and my number was 0. There was nothing, no calcium detected in my arteries. So that's also a plus, right, for me. So I love that. So that test is a free test. Now, here in Ohio, they used to have it all over these hospitals, advertising it for people to go and get one. It was free. Not even an insurance charge to it. It was free for everybody to go and get. So check that out in your state. I even made a video about this. Maybe I'll put it up on my community post. So if somebody wants to go and look at it. But that's a great test too, because, the number one killer in women, isn't it still heart attacks? I don't know. Cancer is coming out strong, though. Cancer is coming out swinging. But for women, it's heart attacks. Can you believe that? Because I always associate heart attacks more so with men. But yeah, so we got to make sure that, we're getting those kind of things checked out. You're getting your heart checked. It also, it tells a lot about your heart other than that calcium score too. So there's that. So yeah, I'm going to put that on. I'll write myself a note because I will forget to put that video up. So you can to ask your doctor, and it gives you a calcium score. So that's another. And that was what they were trying to do to help prevent people from having heart attacks. Now, you could have a calcium buildup. Does that mean you're going to have a heart attack? No. But you want to know, once you have it in there, can you reverse it? Can you get some out? What is the procedure? Can you eat a certain way? So I always say knowledge is power. And I didn't really have to have these discussions because mine was 0, right? Which was excellent. But some people may have some in there and may want to know what to do about it. So there's that. Okay. What are you guys saying? Oh, thank you, Bellflower. Downsizing Diva does not provide medical advice. This information is for entertainment purposes only. It's not a substitute for professional medical advice or treatment. Always, always, always consult your doctor. And not only me, my moderators or anybody that's in here talking, this is just our experience, research we've gotten, but we just want to say we're not doctors. So I always say too, don't listen to a lady off the internet or a man. Take the information is, use what you can, but I always say run it by your doctor. That is so, so important, because like Rita told us, like Bellflower told us, we're all different. And what works for Downsizing Diva and my medical history may not work for you, and vice versa. So, we just need to make sure we say that for people out there. Where are you getting this new standard? Serious question. I think she's talking to Bellflower. So I think that she's answering that. She says, I do that too, DD. I have my meditation sounds going during your 5-minute rest time in the test. I bet you they're on their toes when you're in there, sweet bee. Anissa, how are you? Look at your profile pic too. Look at another beauty we have. Hey, Jamie, how are you? So Bellflower says her mom and best friend's cardiologist, my primary care provider, and my OGBYN, they who specializes in labor and delivery. I've heard that too, that the standard kind of went down, but it has done that before, so it's no shock. But yeah, geez, Louise, we got to keep up with what's going on. Sweet Bee says, I'm not a doctor, but I am an insurance underwriter. Geez, Louise. And from a morality perspective, the systolic pressure is the number we care about. It's the peak force and the number that drives. Arterial, is it arterial, DMG. What's DMG? I don't know what that means. Wow, geez, Louise. Okay, so you're a insurance underwriter. You probably have some inside scoops. Thanks, Mel. Bravo to you too, and everyone in good health and working towards it. I know. Let's give people some confetti for that. Geez, Louise. And I also want to give people confetti for sharing their numbers, and you don't have to, but I appreciate, people sharing. This is like a humble brag for some of us. Excellent point, Dee. The scale does not necessarily equal health, and the scale they don't give visceral fat, which is an important metric too, right? And visceral fat is that fat around your organs. So yeah, that's true too. Oh, the solo cruiser. Hey, Soror. She says, I got labs recently and most were in range. I track the ones out of range. Check blood pressure daily, your measurements monthly. Very good. Okay, good for you. So I want to give you some confetti for tracking something other than the scale. That's a cute picture. You look like you're ready to roll out too. I love it. This is so good to look at. Thank you. Thank you for having the numbers. I love that. Okay, we don't even take it's an account when calculating morality. Okay, really? Oh, okay, that's good to know. Okay, all right. All right, so Vicky is saying, hi, Vicky, how are you? Vicky is saying hello. Let's see. Okay, so let me see what you guys are saying. I'm trying to skim. Mel says, okay, she says, let's manage our cortisol, protect our peace. I laughed at the peace sign, especially as a midlife woman dealing with aging parents, annoying adult kids, retirement planning, high pressure careers, peri or menopause. Yes, we just have a lot going on. We're all definitely making you all are definitely making me put on my nursing research. I've worked with cardiologists and endocrinologists, and learning new things is so enlightening to me. Yes, this is what's great about this community. I told you I have some smart folks up in this chat. Love it, love it, love it. I've grown to a point where I'm not bothered by the scale fluctuations anymore. I know there's so much more going on to pay attention to. Yes, and I'm glad you do. But that's a learning curve for so many people. And so never fear, because my channel is here. That's what I'm going to be focusing on. Other things, and not for nothing. We do want to lose weight, because losing weight, that's another thing I want to say. Losing weight drives these things down, right? If I'm losing weight, my waist is going to get smaller. If I'm losing weight, I am going to have, hopefully, better blood pressure. Not always, but it does align. It's correlated, highly correlated. My fasting blood sugar is going to be better. My HDL and my triglycerides are going to be better. So all those things, losing that weight. But I'm saying when you get stuck at some point where the weight's not coming off and those things have improved, you're great. You're doing a great job. Give yourself credit for that. And then now you can start to work on the weight. And I love that about my doctor. She's always said that to me. We never focused on my weight. She just said, you're going down. You might be going down, slowly, or, normally, but slowly, but you're going down like your line. We have a line, and the line was trending down. And the trend is your friend in stocks and in weight loss. When that trend is going down. Now in stocks, unless you can bet on a stock to go down. So I will say that going down could be your friend in stocks. But in stocks, most of the time, unless people are betting on the stock to go down, they want to see that stock go up, the trend line going up. So either way, when the trend is your friend, my doctor was excited about that. And once my A1C hit that, she said, now let's focus on this weight loss. And I just love that. I love that she wasn't, making me feel like pressure to, take the weight off so fast. And what are you doing? And why aren't you losing? Because I'm taking Mounjaro, and what I'm on it for, I'm successful at. This is what I was talking about in my last video. A lot of times we move that goalpost, and then what we started off being excited about, now we're like not so excited, and we're almost beating ourselves up. And that's what I don't want to happen to me. So that's why my videos are kind of focused on that. And, my weight will pick up, loss will pick up, and, and I'm going to get to my goal. And I'm sure of that too. Which, I'm going to be talking about that. So how am I going to get to that goal? It's slow and steady, but it's slow. It's slow, it's steady. Okay. So yeah, stress is another one. Your vitamin D is 65. Now, I have my vitamin D number, but I didn't bring that with me. So I'll have to let you know what that is. But yeah, my vitamin D is I just remember it's in the normal range. And, I'm one of those people that don't go outside. So I don't like outside. So I take a vitamin D supplement, because, especially in the winter, because I'm not really getting exposure to the sun like some of you guys probably are. I'm not outside walking in my neighborhood, strolling around, all of that. So I take a vitamin D supplement. And when I don't take a vitamin D supplement, I hover on the low side of the vitamin D, because I always get a vitamin D blood test. I always get that included in my blood work. So yeah, so there's that. So if you guys aren't doing that vitamin D, you got to get that vitamin D in, especially if you're African American. It's a must do, because our body tends to lack the vitamin D. Hello. She says, I just joined the live. You are showing some great things to consider. Well, thank you, Stacy. And hopefully you get those numbers. And, if they're not where you want them to be, we're going to work to get them there. So I love that. Thank you for stopping in. Cute pig, I can't see that far back, but it looks like you have a handsome somebody in that picture with you. Yes, Dee Dee. And you had a CCTA with contrast. Oh, yeah. Completely clean. And thank God. Oh, you had that too. Okay. With the contrast. Yes. I'm going to remind me, Mel, to put that video up on my community post. So if somebody is interested, you could go on there and look, and I'll try to put it up for tomorrow. Not for nothing, go to my community post every day. This week, I have some good things coming up on there tomorrow, Friday, Saturday into Sunday. Some of the, things that are like near and dear to my heart. I posted them on there, and I posted here recently a picture. I'll see if I can go to this picture. This picture, it's when I was, let's see if you can see. Let's see if I can share my screen. I hope this whole operation doesn't come down. I always say that. So. Okay, I'm going to try to share my screen. Hopefully you can see. Here we go. Downsizing Diva. So you guys saw that picture of me. Check me out. I was 42 years old. That was 11 years ago. I was focused. And I had this on my my little notes. I was focused on hitting 10,000 steps. I was tracking my activity. I was getting my workouts in. And, today, like I say, my journey looks a little bit different, but the goal is still to take care of my health. So there is that. So I put that post up because, I want to remind people. I think people who, watch my channel and saw when I said, "Oh, I'm scared to go to the gym," like they think that's the very first time. And I said in the video, it's not the very first time I went into a gym, but when you haven't been and you're, a bigger person than you was when you were going and all the things, it was scary to get back into getting into that gym. But I just want people to know I have been at times at the gym before. So I will give myself credit because I haven't given up on going. I've been before and was doing all the things. I was in this during that time when you guys saw 42 years. I was 42. So that was 11 years ago. I was in this competition with some people I worked with on who could walk the most steps. And we would keep track on the Fitbit. You could compete against each other. And we were doing that. So I remember doing that and hitting those 10,000 steps and being excited. And the one guy, he's retired now. He's retired. He's been retired for like 12 years. But the one guy, he was super active, going out golfing, doing all this stuff. And, and I was like, I was determined I was going to get him. So I was doing all kind of stuff to move around and get those steps in. So I just want you guys to know, it has been times where I was actually working out and doing all the things. Okay, so Mel is verifying that a heart attack is number 1. Jeez, Louise. Yes, you took that and your score was 0. We are 20, trying to figure out LDL, and it was your minnow all along. Yes. Yeah, isn't that something? Purple, but where are you getting this new blood? She wants to know. I love that. She says, what authority? I'm searching for it. I don't see it anywhere. I'm working in cardiology, but it's been about 5 years. Okay. All right. I'm working it. Okay. Well, let's see if she figures that out. I hope you figure it out. I know how that can be when you want to know something. Okay. Let's see. Tiffany, how are you, Tiffany? She says, hello, this is good information. Thank you for stopping in. You are so welcome for the info. Okay, so Pam is saying she sees a cardiologist every 4 months. Okay, all right, very good. All right, so you guys, your diastolic is 80 to 82 all your life. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. So Mel says she will do for sure. Vitamin D is vital. Yes. 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 Shani. Okay. I see Shani. Hey, Shani, how are you? I need more vitamin D supplement more than because I avoid the sun. I do try to get 20 minutes of early walking in. Okay. My face doesn't always need. Well, that's so good that you're walking. I don't, so I gotta take that vitamin D supplement. Cookie, how are you? Doses of Shani, how are you? Yeah, you gotta go catch the replay. This was a good metabolic health one. So Stacy said, my numbers are good now. I maintained my weight for 2 years, but my HDL was a little high. I was able to lose 10 more pounds, and that number is great now. I also exercise and lift weights on most days. Oh my gosh, very good. Okay, so here we go. Let's give you some confetti. That's excellent, awesome, excellent. Very good, Stacy. And I love the lifting of the weights too. I think that's so important. Okay, so Cool J said this is a great conversation. Blood work is very important. I noticed crazy blood work results during periods of fast weight loss, slow and steady. Also, my stomach was the last to go. Hang in there. Thank you. Very encouraging. I appreciate that. I'm going to give you some confetti. So that fast weight loss didn't help your labs, huh? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Well, obviously, I'm also a testament to that too, because my labs are good and I still have like 60 pounds from my goal. How about that? All right. So let's play a quick game and then we're out of here. So this is called Healthier Than You Think. So I'm gonna just we're just kind of like to summarize what we've talked about. So Cookie, who just came in, reset with the Nithis, doses of Shani. So maybe you guys could jump on in on this too. So I'm gonna read something, and I want you to let me know. Is it? Let me put this up because I'll forget to. I'm gonna put it on the screen. So let me know. Is it healthy? Is it pre-diabetic, borderline? Jeez Louise. So borderline healthy, if that's a thing. I don't want to be borderline. Reminds me of that Madonna song, Borderline. Feels like I'm going to lose my mind. Okay, high risk. Okay, how about that? Okay, so tell me if you think it's healthy, pre-diabetic, or borderline, or you think it's high risk. So that's what we're trying to determine. All right, so hopefully I spelled that right. Okay, all right, so this is the first one. If you're a woman and you have a waist measurement of 33 inches, 33 inches, are you healthy? Are you borderline? Or are you high risk? Put your answer in the chat. You are a woman and your circumference of your waist. Hey, Ruth, how are you? Yes, Pam, I've always had a Peloton treadmill that's, sitting up big and pretty in my living room. So I've always had that. But I also, in addition to that, I bought a walking pad that sits in my bed and it greets me every morning. How about that? So yeah, I'm geared up. All right. So what do you think? A woman has a waist measurement of 33 inches. Is it healthy? Is that borderline? Or is it high risk? Okay. All right. So we got our nurse coming in there saying border. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So let's see what you guys are saying. Okay. So Ruth says she was driving. Ruth, how are you? Looking fab. You were driving, but listening. Great discussion on getting our blood work done. Got mine done recently, and everything is good. Grateful. Oh, what a blessing. I love that. Very good. Okay, so Stacy is saying healthy. Mel says borderline, healthy, borderline. We got a healthy. It was waist, like around your waist, your midsection. Cookie, you are too funny. Borderline. Okay, you say borderline. Okay, I know. Cookie is so funny, isn't she, Shani? Okay, so technically it is healthy because it has to be that 35. But I see what you guys are saying because it is close, right, to that 35. But 35 and under should be for women. So 33 is under. So if I was at 34, I'm good. I'm nowhere near it though, so don't worry. But yeah, so technically that is healthy, but you could be on the borderline of, 35. They say you want your waist to be, goal is less than 33 inches. It should be 33 inches. This is 33. This person was at 33. All right, what about this one? A woman has a waist measurement of 39 inches. Is she healthy? Is she borderline? Or is she at risk, high risk? So now we switch from 33. Now we're at 39 inches. Your waist is 39 inches. Are you healthy? Are you borderline? Or are you at a high risk? No, Mel, I don't know. Unless they change the guidelines, Melly Mel. Research it, look it up, and let me know. Okay. All right. All right. So we got some people in here. Ooh, okay. So if you're over 35, you go into this category. Healthy, pre-diabetic / borderline or high risk. Okay. All right. So we got, she said she think. Absolutely. Okay, so Pam is saying high risk or healthy. I'm sorry, Pam. High risk says Anissa, she's thick. Says Cookie. High risk, borderline, healthy, I guess. High risk. You said no, you're correct, but the system is failing us. uh, so 34. So anything 35 and under is still considered healthy. It's if you're 35, if you go 35 and under, that's where you need to be as a female. As a male, it's 40. So anything over 35 is considered. So I would say 34. If you're at that 34, you might be considered borderline, right? And not for nothing, maybe 33. They're considering it healthy, but geez, Louise. So I would say but technically, because think about it. Okay, so for my A1C, I'm at 5.6. That makes me normal. I'm right at that normal. So if I was at 5.7, I'm over the edge now. So you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I'm going with if it's 35 and under, we're gonna give that healthy. If you say borderline at 34, I would take that too. 33, I'm giving you healthy. Because you're 2 whole points away or inches. 2 inches is a nice little room there. So okay, so you guys, that was healthy. I mean, that was high risk. I'm sorry, that was high risk because 39 is over that 35. You're almost up there with the man, and his is 40. Gosh, he can have a higher waist than ours. So a guy, his goal is less than 40 inches. Visceral fat around your organs. If you're getting up into that, for the man and the woman, when you're going over, your visceral fat chances raise highly. Thus the fat around your organs, we know, is linked to heart disease, type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so what about this one? If your now this is going to be a battle. If your blood pressure is 118 over 78, 118 over 78, I'm watching you, Pam, and I'm watching you, Bellflower. Is this healthy, borderline, or high risk? You're 118 over 78. Are you considered healthy, borderline, or high risk? Ooh, according to Tracy, how are you? She comes in with the normal. Okay, all right. We got a lot of folks up in here. Okay, all right. Oh, Sweet B says at her highest, her waist was larger than her height. I'm trending in the right direction. I'll be happy to be under 40. Yeah, that's excellent. Very good. Good for you. That's a good feeling to bring that belly down, right? Especially for females. Yeah, we gave this information earlier, but that's okay. Just join in, put what you think. Okay, so healthy says Mel, normal, healthy, 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 health, borderline says Vicky, healthy, healthy, and we got another healthy. So it was, it was healthy. It was healthy. So that one was healthy. Thank you, Cookie. She says healthy. What about this one? Your fasting blood sugar is, now remember, your fasting blood sugar, not your A1C. Your fasting blood sugar, your glucose level is 92. Thank you, Shawnee. She says healthy. Okay, Stacy says I will definitely watch what I missed about blood pressure. Yeah, just catch the replay where I started off talking about that. Let's see. Okay, so 92. Are you healthy? Let me put the banners back up here. Are you healthy? Are you borderline? Are you high risk? 92 fasting blood sugar. So Shawnee came in with a healthy. I think that's where we started with Shawnee. Okay, yes. Here it is. Okay, we got a healthy, healthy, healthy. We got a healthy. We got a healthy. We got a healthy, healthy. We got a borderline. Okay, we got another healthy. Okay, so that is healthy because remember, anything under 100 is going to be healthy. So that 92, you're still safe with that 92. What about if your fasting glucose was 130? No, 92 is good, Mel. What about if your blood sugar level was 130? Are you healthy, pre-diabetic, borderline, high risk? What are you guys thinking? And what'd you say? She said, see a doctor. High risk. Go see the doctor. Yes, yes, yes. High risk. Okay. High risk. Okay. High risk. I think it's diabetic range. Okay, very good. Um, yes. Okay, very good. You guys are Sweet Bee, you're right. High risk. Yes. I mean, a 130, you're in that diabetic range. You got to get to that doctor. And who knows what your A1C is going to be. And think about that. That's fasting. That means for 8 hours, 8 to 12 hours, usually it's 8 is the window. But 8 to 12 hours, you didn't eat a thing and you still have all that, sugar in your blood. So yeah, that's a high risk. Let's go to the doctor. Mill was right. That's a go see the doctor. No, it's not borderline. It is go see the doctor. So let me read this to you guys. So a fasting blood sugar is less than 100. Pre-diabetes is 100 to 125. Diabetes is anything over 126. So anything over 126 and that person is at 130, you probably have hit the diabetes range. And that's fasting. You haven't even eaten anything. Jeez Louise. So yeah. Yeah, it's fasting blood sugar. So yeah. Very good. So that you got that. What about, we'll do two more. What about let's see. What about what about your triglycerides are 95. Your triglycerides are 95. Are you healthy? Are you borderline? Are you high risk? Your triglycerides are 95. What are you considered triglycerides? People gotta look that up. That's when it gets tricky. So your triglycerides, I'm gonna tell you after you put your guess in there. Now remember what I said my number was, and if I said whether it was good or not, my number. Okay. This is a tough one. Great. Okay, so this one was a tough one. So your triglycerides, they should be under 150. So if your triglycerides are under 150, that's considered healthy. So that 95 would be healthy. That's in the healthy range. Now, if yours was like 175, 245, that's not healthy. If it goes sky high, those are not healthy triglycerides. And remember, mine was 44. My triglycerides were 44. Okay. All right, very good. That was a tricky one. What about is this true or false? This is a good question. You can lose 50 pounds and still be metabolically unhealthy. Is this true or false? True or false? You can lose 50 pounds and still be metabolically unhealthy. Is that going to be true or false? You can lose 50 pounds. And remember, metabolically unhealthy means these things: your waist, your blood pressure, your fasting blood sugar, your HDL, your triglycerides. So you can lose 50 pounds and still be unhealthy metabolically. Is that true? Chippy, how are you? Oh, yes, for the triglycerides of it all, Mel. Okay, yes. Okay. All right, very good. Okay. I feel like I'm in school in the best way. So true people are saying true. Yeah, this is so true. You could still be considered unhealthy if you lose 50 pounds. You still got to have those numbers, right? True. Okay, very good. All right, and then we'll do one last one with the HDL, and that's it. And then we'll, celebrate folks, and we're out of here. So your HDL cholesterol. If you're a woman and your HDL is 38, is that healthy? Now remember, 38. Is that healthy? Is that borderline, or is that high risk? Your HDL cholesterol is 38. You're a female with a 38 HDL. Is that healthy, borderline, or high risk? Ooh, male comes in with the high risk. A 38 HDL. Remember, HDL is your good cholesterol. Ooh, okay, we got a high risk, healthy, high risk, borderline. Okay, we'll get a few more, and then we'll share. Okay, all right. So Sweet Bee says that's low, so that's not good. All right, so I'm going to tell you your HDL, which is your good cholesterol, it should be 50 or higher. So you want it to be Angela Anderson coming in with a yes. Okay, so it should be 50 or higher. So no, you don't want a 38. That's too low for that HDL, your good cholesterol. You want it to be 50 or higher. And remember, mine was a 63. And some people told us what theirs was. I want to say my twin, we're 20. We're both 63 with that, right? If I remember correctly. So you want it to be 50 or higher. All right. So maybe I'll put up a little graphic one day with these numbers, because I think we have to know our numbers. But yeah. So just to repeat, your waist circumference should be less. The goal is 35 inches or less. And I don't know how low you want to go. But 35 inches or less. If you're a guy, 40 inches or less. Your blood pressure, 120 over 80. Bellflower told us there was a new standard out. That's one. I want to say you said 117 over 70, something like that. But it could be even lower than that, right? If it's elevated, it's between 120 and 129, below 80. If it's a little elevated. If you have high blood pressure, 130 over 80 or higher. That's, the standard. Now, if it changed, talk to your doctor, check with your doctor. Your fasting blood sugar should be less than 100. If you have a fasting blood sugar between 100 and 125, you are pre-diabetic. And if it goes to that 126, you're in the diabetic range. Don't walk, run to the doctor, go see the doctor. So you really want to know that blood sugar is, that diabetes it could just mess up your organs. It tears up your insides. It messes up your arteries. Like everything is linked to that. Your HDL cholesterol, which is your good cholesterol for women, 50 or higher. For men, it should be 40 or higher. If you have higher HDL levels, you're generally considered to have better health. It's associated with, I should say, better health and lower heart attack risk or cardiovascular risk. So you want the higher you can get, the better. 50 or higher for us ladies, and 40 or higher for the men. And then finally, the triglycerides. The ideal is less than 150. Borderline high is between 150 and 199. High is 200 or higher. Elevated triglycerides often are linked to excess sugar intake, insulin resistance, and ultra processed foods. And I'm going to tell you, the number one thing, there's a heart doctor. And I don't know who determines who's the number one heart doctor out there. But every heart doctor I've seen, and this guy is supposed to be one of the best ones out there, then who can tell me what's the number one thing they say you can do to help with your metabolic health besides lose weight? It's something specific you can do, and you could start doing this tomorrow, but it's not that easy. What is it? And then we're gonna see what this is, and then we're out of here. What do you think it is? What's the number one thing you could do tomorrow, tonight, even you can start tonight to improve your metabolic health? What is it? What do you guys think it is? What are these doctors telling us to do? And it's not losing weight. All right, so you have some guesses in. Okay, all right. All right, so okay, we got Cool J says walk. Vicky says to walk. Ruth says to walk. Mel says strength train, weight training. Anybody else want to take a guess at it? Ooh, Stacy says lift weights. Sweet Bee says walk. Ooh, Carla says get a good night's sleep. Oh, some good ones. Take a walk. Ooh, weight training. Okay, so no, all those are good, but guess what it is? It is give up processed foods. Do not eat those processed foods. They say that's the number one thing you can do to improve your metabolic health is give up those processed foods. And I'm going to say that's true because we know that exercise, you can't out exercise a bad diet. I see some people around, on YouTube in the community, not just GLP-1, but just all over. And they're working out, and they don't look like they're slimming down. And that's probably because their diet is not the best diet. And how many times have you eaten correctly and not worked out and lost weight? How many times have you eaten terribly, worked out, and lost weight? You can eat whatever you want to eat. And you could work out all day long and you probably aren't going to see as much improvement. So that diet is key. Now, you should be walking. You should be strength training. You should be lifting weights, all of those things. You should be getting a good night's sleep. But if the heart doctors are telling you the number one thing you can do is to give up that processed foods. And I say it's not that easy. I know it's not that easy to give up because everything is processed, right? They say you should be eating whole foods. And somebody might say, what is whole foods? Whole foods are foods that grow from the ground, right? Or foods that you don't have to add chemicals to, food that don't sit in a cabinet. Those aren't whole foods. So any food that's in your cabinets in a can, that's not considered a whole food. And then some people can say, well, corn. Well, because you sit the corn in the can and it's in there for 2 years, you can't argue that that's the healthiest thing you can eat. So, yeah, so there's that. And, so we can have a whole conversation about that at another time. But so that's what you could do. Give up that processed food. And it's tough. And I'm going to tell you, it's tough. You know why it's tough? Because it's addicting and it's made to be that way. And you have to think to yourself, if something can sit on in a can for 2 years, is it really going to be the healthiest? Are you really even going to want it? But we've just been trained to do that, right? It's just easy peasy. And something could be in a box and you heat it up and it plumps up like rice and pasta and all that. And now you can eat it. I mean, it sounds, good, but really, when you think about it, even the healthiest people aren't eating pasta unless they're making it out of zucchini or squash or something that's a whole food. So there's that. So there's levels to this. Because, some people I know who consider themselves healthy and eating all the whole foods. I know people who would eat half of what they eat because some people are just like raw food only. And I don't know if I could do that either. So it's tough. It's tough. So that's why I say you just do what you could do a little bit at a time. So for me, I'm starting with clearing out these cabinets and not replacing my canned goods. That's a promise I made to myself. I said, once these canned goods go. So my daughter said, well, why don't we stop right now? Because I paid for it. And I'm almost done too. I don't really have a lot of stuff left in there. But I said once these canned goods go and once these processed stuff go, I'm trying to wean myself off the processed stuff as much as I can. Now, does that mean I'm going to be 100%? I don't know. Can you even be 100%? Everything is so processed, but I don't know. We'll talk about that another time. The whole processed foods of it all. That'll give us something to think about for the next time. So, yeah. Okay. All right. So money. Yeah. Bellflower money. They must mean ultra processed foods because frozen berries are processed foods. Greek yogurt is processed foods. And they're not the enemy. Yes. Yeah. And not for nothing, even like your fruits and vegetables now, the way they are manufactured, and you think you're buying organic and you're not. But they said processed foods and ultra processed foods. They said a little bit of both. I don't, they also did say some processed foods too that we think are healthy, but they're not. Now, I don't think they're talking about berries that you froze or corn that you froze. Remember I said earlier, the frozen foods are good. Like the frozen fruits and vegetables, they're preserving those nutrients in there. But people will argue when you cook those, you're cooking the nutrients out. So that's a whole discussion. The raw food folks versus, the folks that's heating up their food like me. I mean, if my food's not hot, I don't want it, raw food people. All right, so there we go. That's a whole conversation for another time, Sweet Bee. But you're right. Everything seems like it is kind of processed. Is yogurt considered processed? Yogurt is? I guess it is. I guess it is. Keshna, hello. How are you? Keshna, you have to go to my community post. We put up a post to you. So we're going to sing happy birthday to Keshna, and then we're out of here for the night. It's because it was her birthday on Monday. I remember that because my grandmother's birthday is Monday. All right, here we go. Everybody on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Wait, Keshna. Happy birthday, Keshna. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Oh my goodness, happy birthday. Hopefully you had a great birthday. All right, so does anybody have something they want to share? You was in your painting class. You want to come back to YouTube, but I don't know what to post. I saw it. Oh, did you see it? Okay, I didn't go on there. I haven't been on there and saw if you saw it. Okay, did that sound right? Saw if you saw it. Okay, so does anybody have anything they want to share? If not, we're going to be out of here. It's 10:15, so we need to get out of here. Okay, I don't think anybody has anything to share. Okay, so guys, I will actually watch out for my video on Friday. I have a video coming out on Friday. I want you to put on your notifications. If people join my membership, if you're a member, I have some videos coming out for my members. I'm going to try to get this one video out tomorrow. I was trying to get it out tonight, but I think I'm going to bed. And so I will see you guys if not on Friday in the video. Sunday, I'll have a video coming out. I will see you next Wednesday for the live. Take care. I might go live again on Monday just because I like a good Monday to start my week off. So I might see you on Monday. Put your notification bell on because I don't know if I'm going to do that until Monday. Okay. Love you. Good night. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.